change or pace for Resurgence to be a little bit more aggressive.
Well, I'm interested to see. Maybe we get Raven onto another assassin in the mid lane, try and throw something down. We'll have to see as we jump into champions like J-Team going to be on your blue side, Resurgence on the red side. We're going to start things off with the LeBlanc band targeted toward Raven.
And there you go once again. Again, with the success of Resurgence, they did play Xin Zhao, and the other champion they picked up, I believe, was a Trundle. When they went up against HQ, that has proven to be successful for them. And now J-Team decides to opt to take out Olaf, perhaps forcing Epic to go back to the Trundle. We have figured that out already for you. Meanwhile, Callista, that means a lot is going to be potentially open with Senna still out and Aphelios still open.
We'll see. Champ Select is running at 60 frames per second. Nesty is currently sitting at 4 frames per second. It's a little bit of a, some time travel going on there. There it goes. But it's going to be the Aphelios band out here. On blue side, once again, we're starting to see some more Aphelios bands, but it's usually now coming out from blue side instead of the obligatory red side band.
Perhaps so. This actually opens up Sentinel. We'll see if J-Team decides to pick that up for themselves, as Resurgence could potentially get either the Misfortune and as well as perhaps a Rek'Sai, which I actually am wondering, they've never really shown up for today. We've seen it play a couple of times, or actually a lot of times, more than almost every single game at the last few weeks of the PCS, and that will be a first pick Senna.
Alright, so Senna getting locked in. Liv V's actually played it a couple times now, as J-Team has been one of the only teams that get it during their draft. Rather often, I think they've now played it twice. So for Lil V, I think he's going to be happy with that one. Resurgence targeting toward more or less the top side of the map, getting rid of that set, the Elise as well, and that Callista. But I like this from Resurgence. They say, all right, you're not going to be able to get the Kench again, because that's usually what the pick always goes. Never mind, they go ahead and they just say, okay, we want the Varus instead.
Maybe Varus Kench, that could still be a possibility, but I think jungle could be one of the important picks to take, but I suppose this can still be flexed, either given to Raven or Mexi. But on the other side of the spectrum, I feel like Raven is more of the all-in kind of guy. He has played Sylas, he has played Echo. So if this is going to be flexed to Raven, then it will be a shift in playstyle for sure.
Let's see. Gragas though getting locked in, and there it is! We got ourselves the Yasuo coming out here, paired up with the Gragas for the easy wombo combo. Our first Yasuo of the PCS finally coming out here for Nesty likely.
I love how fast they picked that up. The synergy is there. It's just perfect for J-Team. And it's more like, okay, Raven, I dare you to play Varus in the mid lane. And at this point, it is kind of one of those things and where, okay, Varus, probably going to Mexi now. And we did mention the Xin Zhao that has proven success for RSG. And the other one is Trundle, and it seems to me RSG will opt for the Xin Zhao pick.
All right, so Xin Zhao getting locked in. Now, what do we want to see from their bans? The Kench being banned out, I like that from Resurgence. Don't give the safety over to J-Team. Though, honestly, I'm still shocked that Resurgence have not picked up the Kench before. Trying to deny that from the Senna would have been a nice little pickup to try and give some safety to this Varus, especially when you're going to have a Gragas that's going to be trying to lob ultimates non-stop in his direction. We'll see what their new plan is, as they're also going to be banning out Manalis. Unless this is like an Ornn support that they're setting up for. Maybe that's a possibility here, but the Azir banned out away from Raven.
Yeah, we've seen Ornn support, I think, once, which has been flexed by J-Team as far as I can recall, and that's going to be a Karma ban. I think we've seen Karma being paired most of the time with a Varus. I think it just really makes up for the lack of mobility that the Varus has, and you do want that follow-up when Xin Zhao goes an all-in. But Shinsekai, what is he going to play? It's going to be the Renekton.
All right, so showing the Renekton here very early. So that likely, like we mentioned, means that's going to be an Ornn going into the support role, unless we're getting something really wacky. That might be another possibility. Rest, though, looking to possibly lock in this Aatrox in response to Shinsekai's Renekton.
This is going to be the typical matchup at the top side of the map with a Renekton and Aatrox. Meanwhile, we know where... J-Team's laughing right now. Okay, meanwhile, J-Team, what are you gonna pick?
No.
Maokai.
All right. If the Kench is banned out, we saw what happens when it's a Maokai with the Senna, but okay. We're getting a little wacky here. This is, I'm gonna guess, is gonna be the Galio support then shown here in the bot lane in response.
What if? Nah.
Are they going Raven with
Yasuo
Ornn mid now? Is that the, like, it feels like Resurgence are just trying to, they're all over the place in this draft.
Yeah. Oh no. Nah.
Yup.
Uh-oh. Or Raven could be Renekton mid. It could be a possibility. It still fits his all-in kind of playstyle.
Possibly. That might be.
It's possible.
That might be the plan here. It's Raven maybe going on to this Renekton in mid lane. They shuffle it around. I think that's what the play is going to be here. A much different showing actually here from Raven. Like you mentioned though, does go in line with his all-in playstyle that we sometimes see come out in his lane phase.
Yeah, he did play Echo several times, and as well as, I believe, the Sylas, so I guess it is no stranger, except you're going to be dealing a different form of damage, and now we'll see a lot of potential ganks, I suppose, on the early game against this Yasuo. This is I think the day where we've had the most interesting drafts so far.
Yeah, the fact that we're actually going to get, like, we teased it a little bit, the fact that we might see this Yasuo, we finally get to see it come out with Nesty here, which I think was a bit unexpected. I did not expect it, but I think if you're going to play it against anyone, play it against Resurgence, show it, maybe try and draw some bans later on in the split.
Yeah, that's true. Especially J-Team has won their first match against Resurgence, and now they're, I guess, aiming to have fun on this one.
Well, we'll see. We're going to go ahead and load on into the Rift for our third game of the night. It's going to be J-Team taking on Resurgence. J-Team still in that middle of the pack standings. Getting wins here, absolutely critical to maintain their positioning. Resurgence, it's a long shot. A victory could help them for the playoff run, but it's still a massive mountain to climb.
Massive mountain indeed. And again, with an interesting draft that we're going to have today, I'm looking forward to this one. I'm actually scared for Resurgence because their bot lane could potentially be open for a lot of guys.
Jump in.
It's not a... Yeah, it's not a Maokai, you know, but it still works well with all the CC lock that they're going to be having, especially if you pair that up with Hana with an easy gank.
It's true. You could look for the crazy play. It's the Yasuo Gragas combo. It's just I'm so glad we finally get to see it in PCS. I remember when that was pretty much just the go-to. I think it was all of last year pretty much was, you know, Gragas, Yasuo, ultimate combo, level 6, easy game, easy life. Rest Shensekai doing a little jig in top lane. Technically, Rest is gaining out of this trade, by the way. Shensekai, you know, has to spend mana to meme like he is.
He's like, I'm just gonna use one skill and that's fine.
Yeah, you know, he's just. Oh, he does. What other skill can he use?
That's true. It's level 1.
It's level 1.
He's not gonna spam it then. He's not gonna spam. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Now you're giving me flashbacks to Earth Ornn, and that just sounds horrifying. But it is going to be a topside river start for both of these jungle. No real deep vision. They will see Hana if he goes over his Raptors, and it looks like he's just going to make a beeline buff to buff. Maybe go for the Raptors, so that will allow Resurgence and Epic to kind of have some knowledge on where this Gragas is pathing.
Absolutely, as he is going to either go towards that, it is going to be a buff to buff. Going to circle.
See? There he goes for a little bit.
Yeah, no, he just tried to check. Probably placed a ward there. No worries.
He's just going a little bit on the weird path. I'm not too sure what his plan was, but all is well.
Yeah, but the ward still would spot him out. Despite the circly pathing. It looks like both of these teams are going to be, both of these junglers are going to match each other.
this bot lane, though. This is where a little bit of the action I expect to see. Woody, when you're on the Galio, if you're able to get a Justice Punch, can really go aggressive here onto this, especially when you're running Ignite. Is the Ignite Galio with Lil V actually having to go with the exhaust for the safety, as still getting some easy trades here onto Dennis. Meanwhile, mid lane.
That's true. Oh.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Raven showing off a little bit of pressure here on the Renekton.
Absolutely. Want to take advantage of the fact that, you know, level 6 Yasuo is, especially if you're a Renekton, you'd gladly have that and try to take advantage of his weak window. Epic is nearby, though, in case J-Team decides to go and relieve pressure. Well, looks like that's going to be Nesty going back. He's carrying a cleanse. So the fear of, you know, the usual that we see, perhaps like a Flash Ignite, it's not going to be available against Raven.
Opt in for the more defensive Summoner Spell. Again, Nesty's going to have to be one of those carries when it comes into the late game. He's got plenty of options, too, for knock-up, like support. So pretty much everyone on the team, minus Lil V, can actually get a knock-off off for the Yasuo, as Hana try to go for the steal here. Epic's going to catch him out. That Hail of Blades, Xin Zhao, does a decent chunk of damage. Teleport is also going to come down here from Raven, has the flash as well. They want to go for the full commit. Body Slam will be used. The knock-up from Nesty is able to interrupt, as Raven was trying to get a little bit closer, maybe go for the flash, but opts not to use it.
Yeah, no summer spells being burnt there, but yeah, this is, Hana has to be careful against this Xin Zhao on the side of Resurgence, especially he can really sort of duel you out. Meanwhile, nicely done pokes coming from Exi here, as Lil V does have some form of sustain, and as well as Dennis with the Hot Cocoa that is being summoned.
You got Hot Cocoa from the Bard. You also got the Biscuits coming in for Lil V, so he's fine down there in the bot lane. ST still getting abused here. Excellent job from Raven. He goes in for the flash. That's going to instantly get the cleanse out. As Raven looking to get the kill. With no teleport available, that means Raven should be able to crash this wave in, unless Nesty's going to try and stick around. Might be a little bit dangerous, as Raven's going to hit level 6 quite soon.
That's true. He will definitely hit level 6 first. And that's going to be the scary part. At least something for Nesty. Epic is not nearby for a potential dive, so that at least that gives Nesty some sort of safety. I wonder if that's going to be just a ward. Not Raven going to be rotating, as he's still not level 6. You gotta be careful.
You got Hana nearby. He doesn't have a level 6, though, for the Gragas. I think they're going to wait to see whether or not Raven tries to go for a hard engage. And there it is. Level 6 is there for Raven. The knockout Predator coming out from Hana is enough to interrupt it, as Nesty gets back to safety here. But Raven still becoming a monster here to deal with, as J-Team are having to apply a lot of resources to this mid lane now.
And I think that was the second back of Nesty in a short span of time, so even forced to get double Doran's Blade instead for his first setup. So not the best of backs for Nesty, as Raven has been applying a lot of pressure here. And Hana did try his best, but the fact that Nesty still hasn't reached level 6 halted a counterplay in the mid lane.
Yeah, but still, you take a look at that CS lead that's formed now for Raven. It's 50 to 30 right now. It's not the prettiest. It's the double Doran's Blade back. Not the best time for Nesty. You can see, though, level 6 should be coming up there quite shortly. Meanwhile, top lane, Shinsekai gets trapped up and forced to flash away. Here comes the call of Torch God, though. In response, Epic wants to come on over. It forces Rest to go for the flash away. Epic can get on top of him. Hail of Blades, flash on forward, gets the knock up, and there it is. First blood going in favor of Resurgence.
Beautiful combo. Now, what do you get in exchange? We were a little bit worried between the bot lane of RSG. They will be potential for dives, especially if Epic decides to be aggressive at top side, and looks like they're just going to opt for that dragon take. And meanwhile, we've seen this matchup time and time again, where it's going to be a Horn versus an Aatrox. But at this point, since there's not a lot of vision to work with for Rest to see this coming from a mile away, it's going to be an easy kill for Epic.
Yeah, unfortunately there, Rest, instead of just, flashing down, he ends up flashing up toward the rush and makes his walk back to the turret a little bit longer. In the end, though, Resurgence finding first blood. This has kind of been a common trend, actually, from Epic now. We talk a lot about Resurgence, early on in the split, out of the question of them getting a first blood or getting anything on the map in general. Now they've been often the ones to strike first in the matches. Whether or not they're able to consistently apply more pressure here has been the question. As Hana still not level 6. I am shocked Nestea didn't actually go for an ult off that body slam.
That's true. I think it was because Nestea was a little bit hesitant that he was quite low. But Epic is nearby, and Raven got a lot of chunk from the tower hits from earlier.
Still maintaining about a 30 CS lead over Nestea. So Raven, you want to see him start to really show some dominance. There's been a lot of locals have been talking. Of course, Raven from Singapore, been up challenger in Singapore for quite a bit of time now. And a lot of respect to him, but we haven't been able to see, you know, his insane solo QS style of plays here. Mexi has been usually rather consistent for the squad, but he's going to get caught out here as that's going to force the flash out, as well as the just chunk of damage coming through. And Woody able to respond with a kill of J-Team's own in the bot lane.
That was disgusting, and I was actually expecting that Mexi was supposed to die in the hands of a probable dive. But Dennis, with a tempered fate, not able to deny any sort of aggression, as Resurgence was definitely not prepared for that.
Yeah, you see, that's the one downside of having a Bard as an AD carry. You sometimes have to 1v2 your lane. Now, Mexi being that far forward, without vision, maybe it was his fault, but still, either way, it's J-Team being able to equalize the gold lead to pretty much just 200 difference, as well as pick up a kill of their own. Now Drake is available. Raven still applying pressure here in this mid lane. Poor Nestea has nowhere to run.
Oh, Shinsekai though.
Shinsekai, did you? Okay, he's gonna have to get himself backtrack, because that's gonna be the Predator pops. The knockups are there, and Shinsekai, all right, gonna get taken down there. That one, Shinsekai, unfortunately you weren't able to bait out a later fight, as Epic was down taking the dragon. That should allow J-Team to rotate into a Rift Herald take off that top lane kill.
I think it was a pretty good exchange for RSG, I suppose, but your boosting rest here on the Aatrox would definitely put a lot of damage stats on hand when it comes to these later skirmishes or team fights, if you will, in comparison to Norn, which is painful still in its own right. But we'll have to see, as RSG will rotate here at the middle lane. Meanwhile, bot lane for J-Team will stay intact, as they do want to get the exchange on the turret plates for them.
All right, so J-Team opting not to transition that top lane kill into the Rift Herald allows time for Resurgence to make their way up from the bot lane. Like you mentioned, though, it's going to be turret plating traded onto a Senna for this Rift Herald, so it'll be up to Resurgence to try and make something out of it, as immediately pathing 3 members toward the top side of the map, maybe looking for a dive here on Rest if he's not careful.
Yeah, as we can see that Hana is actually lingering around the mid lane to cover for... That's a lot of backs for Nestea in a short span of time. Raven has been applying a ton of pressure, and J-Team will concede, although first tower will likely go to J-Team.
Well,
but now Shinsekai has made their way down.
Yeah, and with Shelly, that will be the rest of this tower going down. So Resurgence able to find the first brick of the game. Get some gold raining down onto their AD carry and bot side, along with Epic.
Oh, there's going to be another charge from the next rift, from the Rift Herald.
Unfortunately, Rest was in the jungle here, so that's going to allow Resurgence actually to go for a second-tier tower. Rest is going to pop the World Ender, going to get stunned up immediately into the knockup, into the Chain of Corruptions, and you know exactly what's going to happen here. Oh, Senna ultimate comes through, though, and Mexi gets taken down. Dennis now starts running as Rest still gets the reset off the World Ender. He's going to get another charge out of it as he gets the assist, and Dennis is going to get taken down. It's 3 kills on the top side of the map for J-Team.
That was obviously not the plan in mind for RSG. They wanted to just probably take the tower down. Raven tried to rotate at bot. Anyway, I am shocked. That was 1 kill for Rest at the early game. and it just really helped him get a 3-1-1 after this. Epic got a lot of tower hits on that time. Exhaust didn't work at all. The shield was just enough to keep Rest, and as well as the insane health coming from Rest, and Hana just joins in as well.
I want to go look at that replay once again. I don't know what Mexi was doing. He wasn't auto-attacking after he got the ultimate down onto Rest there, and he didn't use any of his abilities. He had mana, so maybe they're all on cooldown. Either way, small little misplays like that will cost you, as J-Team find 3 kills. And 3 of the kills for their team as a whole are now on to Rest on the Aatrox. That's disgusting. And sure, Raven has been able to maintain an advantage in mid lane, but we haven't been able to see them transition this lead elsewhere in the map. As J-Team now with the gold lead.
Exactly, and Black Cleaver already completed for Rest, and that's going to be a huge problem later. I mean, he was already a huge problem now. RSG definitely did not intend for that to happen, but at least they've got the second tier, the inner tower down for them. And now they're going to rotate to mid lane and see what they can do from there.
So Rest clears that out. We're going to have Cloud Dragon joining us in just under a minute. Resurgence, though, not fighting themselves down 2,000 to 3,000 gold like they have on average. It's only about 1,000 gold lead in favor of J-Team. The past couple matches, they've actually been finding themselves advantages early on. But it's been this common trend of either throwing the game away or, you know, not doing anything on the map with said advantage. As J-Team
That's true.
get full control, looks like, toward River here as they show 3 members in mid.
And that's going to be a potential opening for J-Team, as we've seen the bot lane already here on wave clear duty, but that's 10 seconds on the clock. We see Raven split pushing. This has happened before as a LeBlanc, so they're going to use the dragon pressure in the absence of Nesty not having teleport. So RSG is running double teleports right now. They're comfy with this. Rest does have teleport though, so if ever, Raven has to come face to face with Rest.
We'll see. It's going to be the side of J-Team just starting this up. Meanwhile, it's going to be the inhibitor tower starting to be taken by Raven on the Renekton as he's just pounding away at that tower. That's going to be Infernal Drake, and it's a bit of a wacky one here. Because now Raven may be looking for a dive in mid lane. They have Tempered Fate available.
That's true. We're lying in wait. Okay, Raven gets spotted by the ward.
Raven on the ward. Does he know? Woody's over there toward the side. Hana ended up using his ultimate trying to go for a play. Nesty as well. Rest still over here, and he is a big Aatrox sitting on those 3 kills. Still not able to find anything. Now re-engage, though, going to come back out on the side of Resurgence. In comes the Galio, and it's a 3-man knock-up. Nesty takes down Epic. Raven, though, is huge, and he gets himself a double kill. And it's an absolute mess of a fight on both ends. J-Team, though, have to backtrack to mid lane.
And that's going to be a 2-for-2 exchange for both of these sides, as 80 carries are still alive, at least, but Shinsekai, Epic go down. And it was just basically an exchange of trying to start fights. Raven gets spotted.
Oh, Raven going to get spotted here. A decent chunk of damage, though, onto Lil V. Justice Punch is going to be there into the chains, just gets to safety. It's also going to be the Bard Tunnel. Ignite was there on Raven. Is he going to tick down? No, he will survive. Is Raven getting a little too aggressive there? Let's take another look at this, how this all played out. You got to fight on 2 fronts.
You've got to fight, yes, as Rest came all the way from another side, as Shinsekai was just basically collapsed on. Raven had to go the other way around for a better entrance. So the Oran Horn was started. Rest, in the meantime, was walking back, but decided to go, okay, hey, it was Woody that started a fight, so let's just go back in anyways. Woody with the Proto Belt kill on towards, I believe that was Epic, and that was just very messy.
So in the end, it's still J-Team with a slight advantage by about 1,000 gold, but to say the very least, it's been a little bit of a wacky start to our early game. And to be honest, if we take a look to what Resurgence has left to play in their schedule, I do believe a loss here will eliminate them from playoff contention. So the fact that they are still playing everything they got, throwing what they can, and putting Raven onto something completely new, it's a risky time to try this. But so far, it's not gone terrible.
It's not. It's not like it's spiraling out of control. They still have a 2-0 Renekton to work with, and especially that they've sort of assembled this team either centered on towards this Raven, and Mexi, of course, will deal a lot of poke damage later on. I guess the problem with, you know, having this virus in, there's just a lot of dive potential coming from J-Team. I mean, you have the Yasuo that will really be painful later on, and as well as Res, who is actually a big problem now. And I think that's the only worrisome thing. But on the other side of the spectrum, again, Raven being ahead actually really helps for RSG entering these fights later on.
Well, yeah, Nesty also get some items coming online. For him, it's going to be the Bork completed, as well as the Glaive for Lil V. We also got the Black Cleaver that was finished off by Rest a couple minutes ago. The one thing for Resurgence, too, that they also have to remember is if they get decent chunks of damage like that from Mexi, is he's opted actually go into the lethality build.
Indeed, so a lot of painful pokes coming from Mexi for sure with that. And I think the big downfall for RSG would definitely be the vision. It would really give a lot of entryway for Rest to either flank the backline, which will be insanely important, especially since RSG is an all-in kind of team. So they only have Dennis left at backline protection duty for Mexi. So I think that is, you know, my worry, especially into the later phases of the game, and where lanes are even longer as towers start to fall down, and the stun will not connect towards Woody.
Yeah, Woody gets himself to safety with the Justice Punch. They still have the Rift Herald on Epic, but no real minions here. They don't really want to lay it on down. Maybe trying to go for a tier 2 tower if they have the opportunity.
Indeed, as they are definitely setting for the next dragon to spawn, which is the Infernal. One dragon apiece for both of these teams. All ults are up, so this will be explosive. We might see, I don't know, a 3-man knockup coming from Hana, and then Nesty just presses R. We'll see if that's going to be enough to disrupt everyone from Resurgence.
Here we go, though. Infernal is going to get started by J-Team. They're able to just shred that apart. Resurgence, though, with inside track in mid lane, are able to find the first tier tower. And look at this, Epic's looking for a setup. Resurgence able to also knock back. Rest wants to lead forward. The Unstoppable coming out from just Sky. There's Epic, though. He jumps in immediately onto the back line. It's the Yasuo ultimate, but the Temp of Fate is going to get 3 members. It's another Zhonya's, though, immediately. And they're all golden for so long here at this point. Resurgence, they're trying their hardest. It's a double kill coming out for Raven in the end. The shutdown is finally there, and you can only delay for so long, J-Team, as Raven gets himself another kill. It ends up going over to Mexi, and Resurgence are able to find 4 members of J-Team for the price of 1.
Whew, that was just an insane fight coming from Resurgence. That was a nicely placed Tempered Fate for a few seconds of a 5v3 just to try and finish off the remaining members who aren't inside, who aren't in a golden state. And we see Epic with a really nice flank, so Lil V had to deal with Raven and Epic, and at that point it was the knockup only towards Raven, so the value of that Yasuo ult didn't really pan out very well for J-Team, and at this point it was definitely a nice collapse coming from RSG. I was a little bit worried. A lot of RSG players were low at this time.
Yeah, Dennis with a huge ultimate finding 4 members of J-Team. Shutdown goes on over to Mexi. He ended up missing that ultimate just a little bit there on the Varus. And if you want an example of League of Stopwatch, well, there you go. You had enough there coming out from J-Team. 3 stopwatches blown on top of the 4-man Bard ultimate. Resurgence, though, able to find their footing on the fight in the very end. And Raven at this point, oh my goodness. Censor it. You can't show that anymore. It's poor Nesty getting ripped to shreds. Let's see, though. Engage coming out from Hana. Going to try and go for this fight. The teleport is also going to come on through. Raven doesn't care how many people you send to him. He will take them down one by one. And also over toward the side, Resurgence find the kill. Mexi's on a killing spree. And Resurgence, the tempo, the momentum, you can start to feel it starting to get out of control in their favor.
This means Baron, and at this point, this is one of the things where they have an insane lead, and right now they're really pushing towards that. They're gonna get Baron. We've got 2 members going towards that side from J-Team, and it seems to me they cannot do anything. They'll decide to just get a consolation prize and probably push the wave somewhere else.
With that, Baron in favor of Resurgence. And Resurgence now with a 5,000 gold lead in poor ST. Oh boy.
He just wanted to clear the wave and just finds Raven lying in wait like an assassin. Hana though,
yeah,
very aggressive.
Unfortunately, that ultimate doesn't have a whole lot of value when the Yasuo's dead.
Exactly, and perhaps it was more of a displacement tool to keep it close to Lil V and Woody, but there's not a lot of damage to work with at this point of the game, especially now with the type of composition that they have. And Raven, this is Raven as a Renekton, who's 601 right now. This is the time where you shine, actually. And with that said, we'll see. We've seen Resurgence have this big of a lead before. And
you also have to factor in for Resurgence, we're going to start seeing some of those ornaments come through. You also have the Abyssal, you have the Sunfire cape completed for Shensekai. So even though it's a 4,000 gold lead, you factor in the efficiency of those items, and the more he upgrades, it just keeps growing and growing ever in Resurgence's favor. Call the Forge God going to be used. It's a 2v1, but here comes the rest of the squad from Resurgence. Piercing Arrow not going to find its mark. But Epic also still sitting on that GA, looking for the dives. Raven's going to pick up some more standing gold on the map. Resurgence is going to continue to open up a gold lead here with half the Baron buff remaining.
Yeah, we've got a few minutes for the Baron buff, and we see as well as stopwatch on Raven. So I suppose he'll be a little bit more aggressive, as he has something that he can fall back to in case things get sticky. At the moment, though, we see Nesty split pushing. Problem is, he doesn't have teleport. So is Shinsekai, trying to speed up his process a little bit, as he only has that board completed in comparison to his fellow enemy laner, who has 2 completed items already.
There we go, another takedown for Resurgence of towers. More standing gold on the map now going in their favor. They're going to set themselves up for this Infernal Drake, get a little bit extra damage in their back pockets. And now the question becomes, can Resurgence actually close out this game? We've seen them in positions like this before. They were in this position against AHQ, and it didn't go well. Now, if Lil V just goes roaming in the jungle for no reason, it's certainly helping their cause, as Resurgence just get a free kill on top of a dragon.
I am not sure when the ward was placed, but there is a ward near the Raptor camp. You know, RSG will be happy taking this tower down, especially if the AD carry is not around 20 seconds.
We'll see. It's going to be Cask use. Unfortunately, no one's really in range of getting taken down. Epic still has his Guardian Angel, so they can threaten a dive here if they really wanted to. And there you go, Resurgence crack open the base of J-Team as they're going to take the inhibitor here in mid lane at 26 minutes.
Oh, but
out. Woody wanted to try and go for the Justice Punch. Redemption is going to be the year. 5 members back up for J-Team. Epic right on top of Lil V. Still has GA available. He's got no mana, though. And he has to back off using the Bard Portal to get over to safety. J-Team still hunting, but they can't catch Raven.
oh, they're still going for it.
Well, there you go. Knockup is going to be there. Raven's still healthy. Goes to the stopwatch. Doesn't have his ultimate available. Go over to his side.
Whoa!
A huge 4-man knockup coming out from Shensekai on the Ornn. And that's why you don't funnel into just those choke points against an Ornn. It's a free Malphite ultimate at this point. Lil V, though, still very healthy over toward the side. But Resurgence absolutely decimate J-Team.
What a massive knockup coming from Shinsekai, and that stopwatch really did come in handy as it bought a lot of time and baited J-Team to keep chasing as they found Raven sort of isolated in that part of the map. And I want to see that knockup again. It all started here where Resurgence was kind of a little bit too forward with a couple of members sort of Woody wanting to start a fight to begin with, but Epic just dove towards 4 members, and that's the reason why, you know, J-Team, this is the time to actually pop out that Guardian Angel, but because of that portal, it's basically easy escape for Epic.
Yeah, and then there's just this collapse. There's a lot used. They're like, all right, we can catch Raven, so we commit everything, but then Shinsekai gets a huge orange charge.
This is beautiful. He flashed in, get that 4-man knock-up, and basically it was perfect setup for everyone from Resurgence. And I just realized Nestea is 3 levels behind Raven, so despite that perfect setup, item-wise, level-wise, he's not just there yet to take advantage of those perfect knockups.
And like that, Resurgence in the driver's seat now after picking up a massive team fight against J-Team. J-Team, though, still alive. Game ain't over till that Nexus falls. The ornament's still coming on through. It's going to be a nice barrel coming out from Hana, but still, Nestea not there to pull the trigger on the Yasuo, and then Tempered Fate is going to catch out Nestea as he was caught by the Chain of Corruption. That's going to force out the flash. Shinsekai looking for the knockup, not able to find it. Epic, though, wants to go ahead and lead on the charge. Shurelios was popped, and now the rest of the team pile on in. It's just going to be a jumbled mess. Senna ultimate coming on through. Here comes the Galio ultimate trying to instigate once again, but Raven is too damn far ahead on this Renekton to even care as they find themselves another kill. Shinsekai gets the credit.
Massive fight. That means that's going to be Baron for Resurgence at the moment. 30 seconds on the clock for Woody. J-Team decides to just concede and let that be. There is just one teleport. That's going to be from Res. And I feel like J-Team would just decide to go defense mode as there's not a lot that they can do to stop this from happening.
And for Resurgence, if they can keep up this composure, they will take down J-Team and claim their second victory of the split. It's Hana with the engage, but no one to follow up.
There was also a the chain of corruptions coming from Varus, and that would be the go signal perhaps of J-Team, but at the same time, you have to take into account that Raven is just massive right now, and if they had a hard time killing him with a stopwatch, they will have a hard time killing him again with the Guardian Angel not being popped into this fight. So it will pile on over for the next siege that RSG is going to do, with J-Team having a hard time defending this one.
And with that, like you mentioned, the GAs weren't even popped. Epic and Raven can still dive into this backline. They can use everything to try and just get this Senna. And it's just game over here at this point for J-Team. Rest is going to have to carry these fights somehow on this Aatrox. It is a possibility, but you can see Resurgence want to keep up the pressure, keep inching their way into J-Team's base. As more and more ornaments are going to come online, it may be a 7,000 gold lead in favor of Resurgence, but trust me, it feels close to 12,000 when you have all these upgrades starting to come through.
Exactly, a lot of value on towards this Orn pick for Resurgence. And again, yeah, it's going to be a problem with these Guardian Angels still not popped after a couple of fights already. And even Shurelios is being picked up, so the option for J-Team for disengage would probably use the cask, but the cask should be used either to set up for Nestea, and now they might have to be forced to use it defensively against RSG once they press that button.
There you go. Cannon Minion's going to pressure into the base. Inhibitor does come back up in mid lane though, so Resurgence are going to have to crack that once more. Baron buff only available for another minute. With this minion wave though, as well as top lane pushing on in, Resurgence should be able to claim one of the lanes in their favor as 2 members of J-Team have to go up to try and deal with the lone Raven. So like that, mid lane Inhibitor is going to crumble and continue the siege now for the next 5 minutes.
Alright, RSG playing it textbook styled now. They have the ball in their court. And at this point, they can just slowly chip away the towers of J-Team. Again, Rest was massive, already completed his death stance. Stare axe as well.
There you go. Gonna get that pressure in there. Nesty gets the ultimate onto Mexi, but still, he's so far behind that Mexi is able to survive, and now the rest of Resurgence try and pile on back, try and prevent that. Rest goes after Dennis, but without your Aatrox, you have no front line, you have no damage on the side of J-Team. Rest is so late to the fight now that it doesn't even matter he's rejoining. The rest of his team has already crumbled. Shinsekai goes in back for the engage, Rest flashing on forward. He doesn't even get a Guardian Angel procced. And like that, Resurgence 10 to 20 the kill count. They can look to siege in and finish off this game. Raven's just gonna chase the Gragas away. And Resurgence playoffs is still alive. There is still a hope for this squad as they find their second victory during the regular season and take down JT.
The dream is alive from RSG. They showed improvements throughout the whole split after a shaky start. And now that we've seen them their match against AHQ, and now they've done it again. What an incredible match from RSG.
Now, if we get this RSG on, like, every match,
yeah,
there's hope. There's hope for this squad to make playoffs. Now, if you told me they were going to play like that, and you know, Raven's going to pick Renekton and just absolutely tear apart a Yasuo in mid lane, I'd call you a little bit crazy, but if it works, it works.
It worked well for them. They just basically took advantage of how, I wouldn't say the draft for J-Team was loose, but it was more of that they wanted to have a little bit of their own flair coming into the draft, and especially that you look at it, okay, I'm going up against a 112 team in the PCS, might as well sort of play around with the draft. And I mean, it was solid on paper. They have really good engage, really strong team fight. Rest got a 3-1-1 at the first few minutes of the game, so it was working well for J-Team, but Raven got also like ahead with 3 kills, I believe, at like the first 10 minutes. So that snowballed out of control, and therefore, who do you pick? A snowball? Yeah, snowbally Renekton would definitely beat a 3-1-1 Aatrox at the moment.
Yeah, and even then, during that last team fight, like I was so disappointed with how Rest ended up playing that team fight. You're the main person for your squad that's carrying, when it comes across like the finish line here at this point. He's the one keeping you in the game, and then he tunnels so hard for a Bard. Let's take another look here. I believe this is a different fight. This is the mid lane Wombo and Stopwatch.
Yeah, this was the 4-man Tempered Fate into a Bard knockup, and Hanna was forced to get that Stopwatch in as well, and therefore leaving a lot of temporary 4v5s, if you will, against Resurgence. So it wasn't really the best, as J-Team was already in a very funneled area, which was perfect for Resurgence.
Now let's go ahead and take a look at our post-game stats. Again, J-Team was in this game, in the mid-game, but then that fight right there just opened the floodgates, and Raven with the 25,000 damage.
He was massive in this game, and you know, we were talking about how,
he did nothing.
That is, he was 3 levels behind consistently against Raven the whole game. So even though he would either dive in, he was behind in CS, had to go back 4 times in a short span of time in the early game, and therefore couldn't really impact the map or even like stay even in such a tough matchup with the Renekton.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's just nothing you can do at that point here. And there was like, you could say, oh yeah, we hope for the late game, but you also have the Ornn on the side of Resurgence that's going to keep funneling up your upgrades, so you're only going to get stronger and stronger as the game goes. Nesty's build also, he went with the Bork Rush, so he wasn't going the crit Yasuo that you usually sometimes see, where, you know, you can at least get some crits off during some of these fights. I don't even think he had a crit item until probably close to 25 minutes as far as this match goes. So unfortunately, we were hyped up when it came to Nesty's Yasuo, but for me, it disappointed.
Yeah, he had to come off on a hard matchup, and there you go, a well-deserved MVP. We've got Raven 10-1-6 on the Renekton, and I think that's the first ever Renekton mid we'll be seeing in the PCS.
Yeah, I think Raven's going to be... I think that might actually draw some attention over to Raven. He has often been the target of bans, but if he's had this pick in his pocket for so long, I would have loved to see it earlier on in the split. But I'll be happy enough with Resurgence taking home another victory at least when it comes to spring.
I wonder if it was more of a draft thing on where, oh, Nesty's gonna be playing Yasuo. I mean, it was, yeah, Yasuo. Might as well bring up the Renekton coming into this matchup. And I think it's one of those things that made them more confident. And that's the reason why Raven just really skyrocketed into this match.
Yeah, maybe this has always been that pocket counter for Raven that they had planned in case we would see a Yasuo come out from Nesty. So, again, congratulations to Resurgence. It keeps the playoff dream alive. They still need a couple things to fall in place. They still need a couple teams to lose, and they need themselves a perfect record to the end of the regular season, but there is hope for them to at least force a tiebreaker with another team in that bubble position in 7/8 where they can maybe try and find their way into playoffs after a disastrous start to their season.
Yeah, they started with a 1-8 record on the first round robin, and now that we're almost over with our second round robin, they have to still face Liab, Alpha, Nova, and Tally.
Yeah, we're going to get set for our final match of the day, so don't go anywhere. PCS returns after the break.